It's much more powerful for you to know what the potential objections are, to weave those objections or kind of those points of concern that a buyer might have into the conversation you're having with them before they raise them. Don't be scared of objections. I know a lot of consultants are worried about receiving an objection from a buyer, from a client, that somehow they're doing something wrong. No, objections make you stronger. What you want to do is you want to turn objections into opportunities. So here's kind of a two-part, or I should say two-step way for you to accomplish this. The first thing that you want to do is you want to just brainstorm right now, or as soon as you can, make a list of all the potential objections that you think that you might receive from an ideal client. And just make an extensive list as much as you can. List it out. What are the potential things that they might be concerned about? Is it about price? Is it about timeline? Is it about your experience in their industry? Whatever it is, what are the potential things that might come up? Also think about what have you already heard, right? Maybe you're new to consulting, you don't have as many experiences to draw upon. Maybe you've been consulting for many years and you have a lot of knowledge and you know what people are typically concerned about. Whatever it is, write it all out. You can do some research online if you need to, but most of it you can just brainstorm, okay? And then you want to have two columns essentially on this piece of paper or this document. The first is, what is the objection? Then the next is, what is your response to that objection? So if somebody says, hey, your fee is too high, then how do you come in and say, well, let's look at the value that's going to be created here, or let's look at the result, or let's look at the impact this is going to have on your business, right? So the idea is you want to have answers. You want to know how to deal with objections before they even happen. It's much more powerful for you to know what the potential objections are, to weave those objections or kind of those points of concern that a buyer might have into the conversation you're having with them before they raise them. Because if they raise the objection and then you have to try and defend against it, you can do it and you can do it successfully, but it's much more powerful for you to talk about what that potential issue might be in there, and bring it kind of forward so that as you're talking to that buyer, they're going to think to themselves, oh, okay, yeah, I was actually wondering about that. Now they're just thinking to themselves, they're not saying this to you necessarily. They might say it to you, but they're just kind of going to themselves, oh yeah, I was thinking about that, but what they said makes a lot of sense. Okay, I guess that's not a concern. So you're eliminating the objections before they even come forward. That's really powerful. So I said that's the first part. Now the second reason, and the reason why I really want to encourage you to welcome objections and not to be scared of them, in fact, to be excited by them, is because objections are opportunities. Objections are your strength. Objections will allow you to become stronger. How? Because every time that you receive an objection that is not on your list that you've confronted before, it allows you now to note that down and to think about, well, okay, how do I respond to that objection? How do I work around that? How do I now bring that objection or that potential concern or issue or that risk up in the conversation or in my marketing materials or in my content so that fewer and fewer people actually raise it because I've dealt with it already, right? And I just hit on something there. I don't know if you guys caught that or not, but you can weave counters to objections, right? You can kind of remove an objection before it even comes up in your content, right? On your website, in your marketing material. So when you actually talk with a qualified buyer, they have very few objections because you've already taken care of all of them, right? They've already seen or thought through that in your content or in your email that you send them before you jump on a call and all these different opportunities. And then as you're talking to them, you'll be able to work through those other objections before they even bring them up. But if for some reason you don't get to it, you forget to get to it, and they raise an objection, then either you'll be prepared because you've thought about that before and you know what to say to overcome it, to kind of relieve the concern that the buyer has, or if it's something completely new, say thanks, that's a really great question, that's a really valid concern, and then you respond to it as best as you possibly can in that moment, right? But even if you haven't prepared, you're not ready for a great way to counter that objection because it's new for you, be thankful, because even though that one opportunity, maybe it doesn't turn out the way that you want it, that's okay. You're not going to win in every single client or potential client that you speak with. But now you take that, you add it to your arsenal, right? It's a new tool in your tool belt, and it makes you stronger because every time that you now collect a new objection, you're adding it to what you already have, which means that you're going to become stronger. And that's the beautiful thing about business. When you look at it not as a short-term, one-time thing that you have to win just now, or nothing's going to work out for you. You look at it as long-term, that you're able to get better and better, stronger and stronger as you accumulate more experience, as you accumulate new perspectives, new ideas, new points of view. Well, now it becomes exciting, because even something that might at first glance feel like a negative, like an objection, oh no, I got an objection, so on, it's actually now going to make you stronger. So if you want to continue receiving new insights and to be notified when we post new videos, new perspectives, new best practices to help you to grow your consulting business, be sure to hit that subscribe button or the follow button on LinkedIn, and we'll talk to you very soon.